My name is Eric Thrasher, hearing officer for the San Francisco Public Works. Kim, what's your last name? Kim Stevenson is the clerk of this hearing. This hearing is being recorded, and a sign-in sheet is on the table on the side of the room, or we will put one out before the end of the hearing. Oh, it's to the right side, your left side of the room, by the door. Please be sure to sign in for our records, and so if necessary, we can contact you in the future regarding the item you are here for. This public hearing is being held to consider Public Works Order Number 200906 for permit number 18WR0386 by Extenet Systems, Inc., located at 694 Shotwell Street, and permit number 18WR0182 for Verizon Wireless at 98 Jordan Avenue. This is a hearing to consider Public Works' tentative approval of the two permits that I just mentioned. My job as a hearing officer is to gather the facts for the hearing items, listen to your testimonies, and to help the Director of Public Works make determinations. I will not be making any decisions today. Instead, I will forward the findings from this hearing and make my recommendations to the Director. The Director will make the final determinations. When the Director's determinations are made, the Department will notify you of them. Therefore, if you want to be notified again, please sign in on the sheet. The hearing will proceed as follows. I will first ask Public Works staff to speak, to present the item, to give us an overall view of the permit application process, and describe how the applications arrived at today's hearing. Afterwards, I will have speakers in the following order. Number one, I will ask that protesters who submitted written comments come up to speak. Number two, anyone supporting the protesters will speak next. Then I will give the applicant a chance to speak and to answer any of the protesters' comments. Following this, anyone supporting the applicant will speak next. And then lastly, any city agency, including Public Works, can speak and comment on any of the speakers. Each speaker will have up to 5 minutes to speak. The clerk will monitor the time for all speakers. When you hear the first bell, it will mean the speaker has 30 seconds left to speak. A louder second bell will signal that the time is up. Comments and questions should be addressed to me and not to the department or the applicant. If you cannot finish your comments within the allotted time, you may submit written testimony to me by the end of this hearing. If I feel that a question is warranted, I will ask the question. After all comments are completed, I will close the item. We will now begin the hearing with order number 200906. May I have Public Works make its presentation?
Good morning. My name is Leo Palacios, and I will give an overview of the wireless permitting process. The city has limited authority over personal wireless service facilities. Wireless facilities are regulated at the federal level with limited local control, allowing some oversight of design. All authority invested to the city regarding these facilities is restricted to Public Works Code Article 25 and Public Works Order 184504. The process includes review by San Francisco Public Works, the Planning Department, and the Health Department. If all departments recommend approval of the application, the city issues a tentative approval and the applicant posts and mails this notice to any person owning property or living within 150 feet of the facility. There is a 20-day protest period, and if Public Works receives an objection to this notice, as we have for the applications on today's agenda, Public Works convenes a hearing. We have provided the hearing officer, the Planning Department, and the Health Department with all the objections. Additionally, the applicant has responded to each protest. Public Works Code, Article 25, Section 1513H, which I have here, provide all available grounds the city may lawfully use to deny a personal wireless service facility permit. The first ground is if the Health Department incorrectly determined that the application meet Article 25's health compliance standard. This would mean that the facility would not comply with the Federal Communication Commission's emissions guideline. The second ground is if the planning department incorrectly determined that the application meets the tier compatibility standards. This would mean that the facility would significantly detract from the defining characteristics of the adjacent neighborhood. The third ground doesn't apply to today's application since none of them are proposed adjacent to a city park or open space. The fourth and fifth grounds is if Article 25's requirement for obtaining a wireless permit are not being fulfilled or that there is a proposed modification to the design and that modification would not comply with Article 25 standards. For all the applications on today's agenda, we believe the tentative approval was issued correctly. The Health Department found that all applications meet Article 25's health compliance standard, and under federal law, the city cannot deny an application for emission concerns if the facility is found to meet FCC guidelines. Additionally, the Planning Department found that all applications meet the tier standards and will not significantly detract from the defining characteristics of the adjacent neighborhoods. Finally, there is no evidence in Public Works possession that demonstrate that these applications will not comply with Article 25 and Order 184-504 standards and requirements. We will be here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Are there any protesters who've submitted written comments who would like to speak? Is there any member of the public here who'd like to speak regarding these wireless permits? Does the applicant have anything they would like to say?
Hi, good morning. Rick Hirsch on behalf of Extenet Systems. We believe that this facility is appropriately sited. We've complied with all city requirements and guidelines and would appreciate your consideration. We request that you deny the protest and uphold the approval. I'm here to respond to any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone present have any questions for the applicant? All right, well then, I suppose I will close this hearing, or for today's, yeah.
I'm here to speak on 98 Jordan Avenue.
Okay, yeah, we're going to do that next.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
okay. So I will close the hearing for 18 WR 0386, Extenet Systems, located at 694 Shotwell Street. And next, I'd like to bring up permit number 18 WR 0182, Verizon Wireless, located at 98 Jordan Avenue. Public Works, do you have anything additional on this one? Okay. In that case, ma'am, are you the person who wrote a protest for this particular one?
No, I represent the applicant.
Oh, okay, great. Is there anyone public comment regarding this particular permit at Jordan Avenue? Is there anyone from the public who needs to speak on behalf of this permit? Okay. Ma'am, you may now approach.
I'll keep it short, but I'm also here to answer any questions that you have. I'm going to keep my comments focused to what the protesters brought up, which were RF emissions. So this is the facility that we're talking about over here. This is the city approved design. And you can see there's a fair amount of distance between the facility and the closest home. So as you know, the FCC has primary jurisdiction over radio frequency emissions and establishes the emission exposure levels. They work with the EPA, the FDA, the National Institutes of Health, and many other federal agencies to establish what those thresholds are, and the city's job is to ensure that these facilities comply with FCC standards. Article 25 requires Verizon Wireless to hire a third-party engineer to calculate what the expected emissions would be, and we have Daniel Ho here from Hammett and Edison. He's an engineer who can answer any questions you have regarding emissions. That report is then submitted to the city's DPH, and they basically peer review it and submit a determination to DPW. And here, both Hama and Edison and DPH agreed that the facility would be well below the public emissions thresholds. This facility is emits only 240 watts. That's the effective radiated power. These are very low wattage facilities. The maximum exposure at this home here is 0.49% of the FCC limit, so well below what it is. And then on the ground, it's 0.034%. So while we appreciate the protesters' concerns, this is a very low wattage facility that emits a mere fraction of what the FCC's exposure level is. There's also a condition that DPH attaches to the permit, which is to require us to do post-installation testing to make sure that the actual emissions reflect what was submitted in the calculations, and that that condition is attached here, so Verizon will comply with that.
Great. Can I get your name, please?
Melanie Sengupta, I'm outside counsel for Verizon Wireless.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works, do you have anything to add? Okay, since we didn't really have any public protests today, I guess we'll close the hearing. Thank you for your time, and please remember to sign in if you'd like updates on this particular hearing.